guys have been excellent, and we can't thank you as much as we can for the work you've done. So with that, if you'd like to say something, I really appreciate you saying something. Go right up and give us a few words, Randy, please.
19th time, I should probably say something.
Thank you.
Thank you for the acknowledgement, Finance Department. We were going to bring up a plaque that they give every year. We get a plaque or a medallion. The first 7 years they gave us individual plaques, and then after those they gave us a marble plaque where we would have put 10 medallions each. That's filled up, so they gave us another marble plaque and with 2 medallions on it with another one to come. And so Allison and I were trying to take it off the wall. It's in the accounting office, but Rob Martin from Central Maintenance, he did such a phenomenal job of fixing those to the wall. So I can't even show you that. But I just need to say that, those who have been with the department for all of those 19 years would be Sue D here, Assistant Treasurer Collector, Lewis as well in IT, and my assistant, Ellen. Before I arrived here 5.5 years ago, the department achieved this distinction for 14 consecutive years, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work with this outstanding group of finance and IT professionals. They truly distinguish themselves every day with their talents and dedication, and I'd just like to publicly congratulate all of them for another job exceptionally well done. It's been, we've been asked, what makes this report more transparent than just basic financial statements. So I thought it was appropriate to address that. The annual financial comprehensive report, in addition to the basic audited financial statements and a discussion and analysis of them and very detailed notes and supplemental information about them, also contains a narrative profile of the town, a detailed discussion of factors affecting the town's economic condition, a long-term financial forecast, discussion of major capital investments in the town, organizational charts of both the municipal and the school organizations, and as context to understand the information in the financial statements, a detailed statistical section with 10 years history for each statistical section covering financial trends, revenue capacity, debt capacity, demographic and economic information, and operating information. So I'd encourage anybody to who's interested in these types of reports to go to the Finance Department webpage. It's on the right-hand side, about halfway down, and you'll find it. And again, I just want to thank the board for the acknowledgement for the department. And so it looks like that.
Randy, thank you very much. Next, we have a good luck to the Canton Little League girls 10 and under and 12 and under softball teams who are competing in the regional championships this week. Both teams won the Massachusetts States Championship last week. We wish them the best of luck and are proud they are representing Canton on a national stage. So good luck, girls. We wish you the best. Before we go into public comment, a lot of discussion and a lot of thought has been on trash in the last 3 to 4 weeks. And the select board, as well as the town administrator and his staff, and the DPW and all the staff in the town is doing everything we can to alleviate the stress of the households in this town. We have some answers to some of the questions we got. I'm going to save that until our town administrator does his report a little later in the meeting. But just to let you know, we're working on this every day. There is only certain things that we can do legally. We're going forth with those things that we can do, and we're researching other avenues as we speak. But the town landfill is open 7 days a week. I've used it myself twice. It is an easy maneuver to get through there. I know it's an inconvenience, but we got to work together to get through this storm, and hopefully it'll get rectified sooner than later. So that'll be a report later from Mr. Duty in his report for some of the questions that have been asked. Next, we'll go to public comment. The public comment portion of the meeting is an opportunity to listen to residents' feedback and concerns, but the public comment portion of the meeting is not meant to be a question and answer format. There'll be no response to any public comment when presented. The public comment portion of the meeting is limited to 15 minutes total and 3 minutes per speaker. I would encourage those that do wish to speak to be mindful of others in the room who wish to do the same, so that we can make the most of the time allotted and hear from as many people as possible. Anyone who does not wish to speak or is unable to speak due to the time limit may submit their comments in writing for the board's review and consideration. With that said, we'll start public comment at 7:06. Is there anybody caring to speak this evening?
Yes. Rita Lombardi. I just want to commend this board and Charlie Duty for hiring Chief Perkins. I am absolutely over the moon with his hiring. His expertise, I believe, are just what we need. And I was blown away by your choice. So I really thank you for that. And I thank you for the update on Republic. I know it's not the best situation, but I do believe that the town has responded appropriately and given us options. The only thing that would have helped is if we had some advance notice that potentially there was a strike. But I do appreciate all that you have done. And lastly, I just want to say on move the vote, I know that there's going to be a discussion tonight. I'm not going to be able to stay for that. But I do want to say I hope the board does the right thing and supports move the vote. I was one that was out there collecting signatures in freezing cold weather, and it was fun. And I spoke to upwards of 200 citizens collecting signatures, and 99.9% of those residents overwhelmingly supported moving the vote to November. So I hope and I pray that all of you heard that. And I know, and I heard, the town clerk's office say it's going to be so much more work and this. It doesn't have to be. In my career, I've done automation, system enhancements. All we have to do is make it in part of the modernization team is probably already looking at this to automate the process. We should be able to do more with less. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So I appreciate you guys were spot on with the police chief, and you've done great, in my opinion, with Republic. Please take it home and vote for Move the Vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? With that said, we'll go on to the regular agenda.
All right. First
Ms.
up,
Harrington.
we're going to consider the new rink lease structure. Mr. Scollins, you're up again.
So, as you just heard, I'd like to discuss a proposed third amendment to the John Jay Metropolis skating rink lease with the Department of Conservation and Recreation, or DCR. I apologize for the verboseness that I'll have here. I won't read everything that I provided to you, but I think because of the complexity, I think I have to cover a lot of it, so it's clear for everybody. So just some background. In the spring of 2024, Parks and Recreation Director Tyler Radiconi asked that approval to increase rates charged for the rental of ice sheets at the skating rink be pursued with the State Department of Conservation and Recreation, or DCR, the lessor of the skating rink to the town. Mr. Radiconi determined that the rates that had been set by DCR in September of 2019 for the 2020-2021 reopening year of the Metropolis rink were low in comparison to other rink rental rates in the area. And at the time, rates were increased from $220 for all hockey rentals to $260 for youth and high school rentals and $275 for private hockey rentals. These are 50-minute sheets of ice rented. Mr. Radiconi and I met with DCR officials in June of '24 to advise us on the process, as they're the adjudicators of this and the commissioner ultimately determines increases. They asked us to compile and submit a list of items in order for the requested rate increase to be considered by DCR. We were looking long-term and, as advised, requested rates that would sustain the Rink Enterprise Fund. It's an enterprise fund that has to pay for all of its costs. through fiscal 2030. Starting in FY '26, the rates were requested to be changed from $260 to $295 for youth and high school rentals, and from $275 to $310 for private rentals, or a 13% increase, which accomplished that goal. In September of '24, we met with the Select Board and received your support for the rink rate fee increase, and subsequently forwarded the requested documents to DCR officials. 8 months later, in May of 2025, we heard back from DCR officials who were supportive of the requested rate increase. However, they asked if the town would increase the rates by an additional $5 per sheet to $300 and $315, so in essence a 15% increase as opposed to 13, as a way to provide additional funds to the town that they requested be added to the town's annual rent payments to DCR. The incremental rink fees associated with the additional $5 is approximately $8,000 annually. So DCR's concern is that the request to have the town pay more in annual rent is because the town's agreed upon annual rent structure over the 30-year lease is relatively modest. It started out at $2,000 a year, and over 30 years jumps to $3,551 in 2050, or 2% annual increases. The modest rent that was negotiated by Town Administrator Aspinwall at the time in 2019 was an acknowledgement by DCR that the town cobbled together $10.8 million on its own to rebuild the rink and put it back in service after it was damaged in 2015 by an extreme weather event. Although it was recently confirmed that $2.5 million secured through Representative Galvin's unaided efforts from the state was ultimately funded by DCR, $500,000, in the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, $2 million, the parent agency of DCR, which is where all DCR excess revenues funnel to. So we learned from DCR officials this past May that 17 rink leases managed by DCR are structured as a percentage of revenue and not the fixed amount that Canton has. Typically, percentage rents are 3% of revenue, which would equate to about $13,000 to $15,000 on Canton's rink revenue. DCR's concern is that their other lessees are pointing to the favorable rent structure that Canton currently has when renewing their leases, and this is causing challenges at DCR in maintaining their current arrangements. So resolution suggested, and I'm recommending here, is that the situation is what prompted DCR officials to propose increasing Canton rates by an additional $5 beyond what had been requested. The additional revenue associated with that $5 increase, again, is $8,000. DCR is asking that this $8,000 be added to Canton's fixed rent schedule starting in fiscal 2027, which allows the town to collect the additional $8,000 in 2026 without paying the increase in that year. So in addition, DCR proposes modest rent increases every 5 years after that, starting in fiscal 2032. The incremental DCR rent from the Canton rink compared to the current rent structure is $269,000 and change over the remaining 26 years of the lease. The $8,000 annual increase in rink rental fees proposed by DCR equates to $208,000 in incremental revenue to the town over those 26 years. So that leaves a net effective increase in rent to the town of $61,000 and change, or an average of $2,446 starting in fiscal 2032. Although DCR cannot grant rink fee increases 5 years in advance, because I asked, nothing would preclude the town to request an increase in its fees every 5 years or when needed, depending upon the sustainability of the rink enterprise funds. Obviously, they want us to be able to sustain ourselves, so that's why they're reacting to our rate increase request now. So the recommendation, in the spirit of long-term partnership and cooperation with DCR, I recommend that the Select Board agree and vote to accept the proposed third lease extension and amendment, which you have. And the only items that change in the lease via the amendment are the ice time fees as discussed, and the annual rent paid to DCR, and updated mailing and contact information. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Scollins. One question is, so without the $5 in with the state increase, was the recreation's recommendation, 295 and 310?
Correct.
That was there, and they asked for that over a year ago, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
It was 2 years ago,
So it's been a slow process, but now we understand why.
and it was because of the lease agreement,
Exactly.
based on that. Okay, do you know what the current rates are?
Yes, currently, they are 260 for youth and high school rentals and 275 for private hockey rentals. And that was up from 220 from when, in 2015, when the rink became unusable. So initially, the prior DCR administration, had agreed to those increases, which were 18 and 25% respectively increases. So the requested increase that we made was 13%, and then with DCR's add-on of $5, it's 15%.
And we haven't had a rent increase since it was built.
Yeah, we had as I said, we had this extremely favorable rent structure.
Yeah.
You're talking rent to DCR?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had this incredible favorable rent structure negotiated by prior town administrator Charlie Aspinwall, starting out at 2,000 and growing to just over 3,500 over 30 years. So that was, and that was, I think at the time, an acknowledgement by the head of DCR at the time that the town really was assumed to have bootstrapped the 10.8 million to rebuild it on its own. But then as time passed and then all of the financial pieces came into place, because Rep. Galvin was then working to help us to finalize the funding, he reeled in 2.5 million, but ultimately we learned that was funded through DCR and their parent organization.
And I know that Tyler from the rec also has stated the utility bills have gone through the roof in the last 3 years, so that is one of the reasons for this new structure, so I totally understand it.
Yep.
And it gets it's still lower than the average
Way lower.
Prevailing.
private
Correct, yeah.
by quite a bit.
Right. The rink rental rates are still extremely competitive, but then even the lease rent that DCR is asking for, what they're saying is they just want to be able to point to the final 5 years in this 30-year agreement to say, see, Canton is moving in this direction. But of course, it's going to take us 26 years to get there. So they-
And we are not limited to another increase, say, in 5 to 10 years. if
You
need
you
be.
can ask for it as often as you want. The rent increase that Tyler and I reviewed and analyzed initially was one that would carry us at least through fiscal 2030. So we're comfortable with that. So we're thinking at that point in time, that would probably be an appropriate time to go back and ask for, at a minimum, a modest adjustment, because it would just be a modest adjustment to capture over the remaining lease, the 61,000 that we would need over the remaining 20 years.
Any questions from you?
I have a silly question. Just because I'm not familiar with the terminology. But so when an ice sheet is, did you say that was 50 minutes of ice time or
Yes.
15?
50 minutes of ice time.
50, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because they've got to clean it up and get it ready for the next.
10 minutes to Zamboni and, yeah. Makes sense.
No, because I had the pleasure of speaking with Randy this morning about this.
Oh, okay, very good.
Because I just was thinking we
Okay.
put 7 million
We'll
in.
take,
Yeah.
sir. State your name, please.
Mr. Chair, Tom Birmingham, Canton, Mass. Through you, if I may, to Mr. Scollins, I had a question.
Yes.
Mr. Scollins, thank you for the presentation and your work on this. The proposal sounds reasonable to me. I was just curious, as Mr. Chair pointed out, the utility rates are increasing, and I understood there was a possibility of perhaps adding solar panels to the rink.
Yes, absolutely.
Could you please explain the status of that?
Sure, so we had asked the Director of Central Maintenance to pursue that as a capital project, because clearly that roof is a perfect candidate for that, and we have the need given the high electricity usage. So, with the Director, being out currently right now, it didn't make it to the FY26 capital budget, but I'm hoping that it makes it to the FY27 capital budget.
Follow-up question, if I may?
Yes.
Mr. Scollins, in all the preparation you did for your presentation today, is there any possibility of introducing into this negotiation, at a risk of throwing a wrench into this, the possibility of financing through state grants and funding, potentially an offset of the solar panels for the roof, or is that just?
I mean, it's a great point, Tom. So that's a separate procurement for the town, but if there are buck here, we're looking to sustain ourselves, have a decent balance to make, replace capital items like the Zamboni, et cetera. So any savings that accrue there are going to be additive to the Rink Enterprise Fund. So that's why I'm anxious to see that project, happen and be completed.
Okay, great. So we'll kind of pursue that over time and see how the Climate Action Planning Committee can help with that.
That would be fantastic, Tom. I really welcome your involvement with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the rink? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move at the recommendation of the Finance Director, the Select Board agree and accept the proposed third lease extension and amendment for the John Jay Metropolis Skating Rink lease, reflecting amendments to ice time fees, the annual rent paid to DCR, and an updated mailing and contact information.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Second made, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair as well, 3-0.
Thank you all.
Thank
Very
you,
much so.
Mr.
Randy.
Smalls.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Okay, next up, we have a public hearing in connection with an application to amend a license for underground storage of flammable and combustible liquids at 2760 Washington Street in Canton, made by Colbea Enterprises LLC, 695 George Washington Highway, Lincoln, Rhode Island, 02865.
I'll move.
Okay, so
I move to open the public
yeah,
meeting.
move to open that, okay.
Motion's been made.
Oh,
Moved in public
second.
meeting. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, guys.
Chair as well. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. For the record, Hussein Sevinchkid with Greenman Peterson, Inc. We're engineers representing Colby Enterprises on this project. I have some green cards for the abutter notification. I'm supposed to give it to someone. We submitted some documents. I'm not sure if you all have that in front of you, but basically it's an existing gas station, Shell gas station located on Washington Street. They're looking to replace the older underground storage tanks with new state-of-the-art double-wall fiberglass fuel storage tanks. Currently, there are 4 tanks on the property, totaling 32,000 gallons of fuel storage. We would be putting in 2 tanks. One of them would be a split tank, so 3 compartments. That would total 30,000 gallons of fuel storage. So we're basically looking for an amended fuel storage license. Currently, we have 10,000 gallons of diesel and 22,000 gallons of gasoline. Excuse me. We're looking for 24,000 gallons of gasoline and 6,000 gallons of diesel. So there's a difference in the gasoline, so that's why we need an amended fuel storage license.
Do we have any information, fire department or anything from this?
Yep, the fire chief has signed off on the application, which means that all the plans and documents have been submitted to the Department of Fire Services and the town as well.
When will this take place?
Most likely in the late summer, early fall,
It's on early fall.
this year sometime.
Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Seeing none, any questions from the audience? It seems to be, huh?
Closing the public-
Yep,
All right, I move that the board close the public hearing.
motion made. Motion made. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, chair as well, 3-0, and we'll take the next motion.
I move that the board approve the application to amend the license for the underground storage of flammable and combustible liquids at 2760 Washington Street in Canton, made by Colbia Enterprises LLC, 695 George Washington Highway, Lincoln, Rhode Island, 02685.
Motion
Second.
made, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, chair as well, 3-0. Good luck.
Thank you.
Very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a job fair announcement from Mr. Murphy.
Have a seat, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Select Board members. Appreciate the opportunity to present the Fall Community Job Fair for Canton. I asked to speak at this meeting because I wanted to encourage employers of Canton to participate in this job fair, and I'd like to tell everyone a little bit about it. So, let's see, what am I doing? Enter? There we go. Oh, that's not it. What do I gotta do?
You got,
Page down, there we go.
you got it?
All right. So, the Canton Community Job Fair is being sponsored by the Economic Development Committee, of which I'm a member of. By the way, my name is Greg Murphy, for anyone that doesn't know me. In association with the Canton Association of Business and Industry and the Metro Southwest Career Center. They have partnered with the Economic Development Committee to organize this job fair. So, let's see, try this again. Sorry.
There you go.
A little further down, all right. So the agenda tonight, to tell you a little bit how this came about, give you a little more detail about who the Canton Association of Business and Industry and the Metro Southwest Career Center is, who they are, and provide you with the career fair details. And then finally, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So, oops, there we go. Went too far already, so I'll get it. So, the way this came about, in my professional life, I actually work for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm a consultant for the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development. And specifically, I work with the Mass Higher Department of Career Services and their associated career centers. This organization is focused on helping both employers and job seekers basically connect. So we want to help people looking for job opportunities find places to work, and we want to help employers looking for qualified candidates find them. And one of the things that, in my experience has told me is that one of the challenges today is for many businesses to find candidates who have the skill sets that employers need. So I wanted to assess whether that was a challenge here for employers in Canton and how big a problem that was. So my original intent was to conduct a survey for employers in Canton. And I reached out to the Canton Association of Business and Industry, and I'm going to let you know that their acronym is CABI, so I don't have to keep saying that. So I reached out to CABI to partner with them because they have 100 businesses in Canton that are already members, and I figured I could reach a good group of employers that way. So in working with CABI, I went to a few of their meetings, ended up talking to several employers, and heard some personal stories, if you will, from employers, and actually started coming up with ideas of how I can help them in other ways. So I ended up putting them in touch with contacts I know at the Mass Higher Metro Southwest Career Center. And they're right now personally helping these handful of businesses fill positions that they're finding challenges to. In fact, I know Draper Knitting specifically already hired one with Metro Southwest South. So in looking at all that and talking to Joe Emerson, who's the executive director of CABI, and all the services that Mass Higher offers, specifically the career centers, one of the services is holding career fairs. And we thought that was a better way to reach out to employers. So instead of trying to find out what the problem is and then figuring out how to solve it, let's just offer this opportunity to employers and see how it goes. So that was something that all three organizations thought was a great approach. So that's why we made the decision to hold the career fair. So to give you a little background, Cabby has been around for a long time in Canton. They represent a variety of civic, public, and private organizations. Their goal is to make Canton a great place to live and work. So their partners are all, or their members, I should say, are all businesses within Canton, and they help them work with local governments, public safety officials, business leaders, and they advocate through shared knowledge, advocacy, business networking. They also advocate for resolving community issues and create scholarships for students in Canton, provide youth activities and senior citizen services. Some of the events that they use for fundraising are the Tom Clark Golf Event and the Canton Road Race. Perhaps some folks have heard of those. Well, that's Canton's involvement, Cabby's involvement in Canton in this job fair. Likewise, the Metro Southwest Career Center, I did it again. Sorry. I'll get it. There we go. They're a resource. They're one of 16 career centers throughout Massachusetts. And this particular career center serves the Canton and surrounding region. And they're a resource for employers as well as job seekers. But for employers, they assist in their recruitment and staff development needs. They're basically a one-stop shop to access statewide workforce employer programs. So they offer services like labor market information, posting of job openings on their Mass Hire Job Quest application. As I mentioned, they host job fairs, and they even do targeted recruitment and job matching. And they'll even work with employers to help pre-screen potential candidates for them. All their services are designed to complement employers' existing recruitment strategy, and all of their services are at no cost to the employer. So any of these needs that the employers have, they can reach out to the Mass Hire Career Center and ask for their services. So with that, let me tell you about the career fair itself. It's going to be held Wednesday, September 10th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be at the Bank of Canton's corporate office over at 490 Turnpike Street. The total number of tables that will be at the career fair is 23, but I have to tell you, I learned today, 11 of those tables have already been taken by employers. So 12 is still available, and I encourage, again, any other employers in Canton that might be interested to reach out to the name that you can see on the slide a little further down. Again, the cost to participate is $0, although it might be smart for employees to bring a banner or any other information to help promote their business and offer any kind of materials they want to share with potential job seekers or candidates they might want to hire. But the contact to register or just to find out additional information is Rick Bakari, and he works at the Metro West Mass Hire Southwest Career Center. And his email is here. I won't read it out, and his phone number is there as well. So I'll leave that up on the screen while I talk a little bit more. A couple other points I want to mention. Employees will be asked to arrive a little bit before 10 o'clock just to check in, get their table set up, get their table assignment and some set up, because we want to be ready to go right at 10 o'clock when the job seekers are expected to start arriving. And then next month, I hope to come back to make the similar promotion to job seekers and potential candidates that would be seeking positions. With that, I'll have hopefully more information to share about what employers will be at this job fair, how to register, because job seekers are also asked to register for this event. And then possibly even some employers open positions, so help people determine whether they'd like to attend or not. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that anyone may have.
Is this an indoor event?
It is an indoor event, yeah. So if you're familiar with the Bank of Canton, the corporate office, they have a great function room right to the left of their main door. They actually have a whole separate entrance designed for this. So people will be asked to park in back and then walk, use this side entrance. So, because obviously it'll be the middle of a workday for the Bank of Canton. But they have this whole separate entrance that they'll have blocked off that will lead to the registration desk, where the Career Center will be there. Cabby will be there if anyone's interested in talking to them. And then the room is basically up a ramp or a couple stairs, and there's where all the employers will be.
Very good. Looks like it's going to be a success already. 11 sign up already.
Yeah, I was
That's
surprised when I
excellent.
reached out and found out how many were already taken, because we had opened it up to, because Cabby was a sponsor, we had opened it up to those businesses first. of the 100 members that are of CABI, 10% already signed up, so over 10%. So I'm hoping that we can fill the rest of the tables with other businesses in Canton that may not be CABI members. Otherwise, we'll open it up to surrounding communities as well, just to make sure we fill all the tables.
Wish you luck. Any other questions?
Just one. So is there, maybe you don't have a sense of this yet, but a range of skill levels that you're expecting job seekers can address
Yeah,
there?
we are not making it a specific industry, a specific job level. I mean, basically, you know, Mass Hire can only work with people 18 and over. I did reach out to the high schools and let them, both Blue Hills and Canton High, let them know that. I also reached out to Massasoit, so they will be spreading the word to their applicable students, if you will. But yeah, there's no targeted industry, no targeted skill levels. It'll be whatever employers in Canton may want to basically post openings for.
Great.
That's a question? Mr.
Yes,
Chair?
sir.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Absolutely.
Just curiosity, is this restricted to private employers or can municipal employers participate?
I think municipal employees can certainly
We got
participate as
job
well.
openings.
Yeah, if you're looking to fill positions as well, there's no reason that municipal employees would be excluded.
Okay, thank you.
The Mass Hire services any employer.
Thank you, Mr.
Great.
Murphy, and very good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Wish you the
sir.
best.
Appreciate it.
Look at that.
Good with that.
You're good.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Okay, next up, we have the home rule petition to move the vote. Ms. Wexler. Mr. Birmingham.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir, go ahead. Go
Okay.
right ahead.
Good evening, Select Board Chair, members, Canton community. Thank you for this opportunity to make a short presentation on this matter. I'm here tonight to urge the Select Board to move forward to implement the town meeting authorization to granted in May to file a home rule petition with the legislature, which is the next step necessary to allow Canton to hold its annual local elections in November instead of in April. Before I get into it, I want to explain that Lisa Lopez could not be with me tonight because of unplanned knee surgery that occurred yesterday, and she's home recovering. Though the presentation identifies me and Lisa as the petitioners, I am here representing the full community of voters who wish to make this change. For the benefit of the public, it's worth a reminder that a home rule petition is merely a town's request to the state legislature to be exempted from a state law that would otherwise apply to the town. So in this case, the state law that requires our town to hold its local elections in the spring. Virtually all the operational implications of such a change, including its planning, resources, and execution, remain a local prerogative, subject, of course, to the state's election laws. The substance of the draft home rule petition that I'm going to present and discuss tonight does not deal with these important matters, though I'm going to make a recommendation about how to move forward on these operational issues, which absolutely must include the full participation of our local subject matter experts, namely our town clerk and our poll workers, who have done an incredible job on behalf of our town, notwithstanding the additional work resulting from other election changes such as early voting and mail-in ballots. But more on that in a moment. It's worth noting that the home rule petition I'm presenting, which is the draft legislation we are asking to be filed with the Massachusetts legislature, benefited from guidance from legislative experts at the office of Senator Paul Feeney, as well as local academic and good government subject matter experts. If you'd go to the next slide, please. This slide shows how we got to this point, bringing us here this evening. After more than 30 volunteers collected far more than 2,000 signatures from Canton voters who thought it made sense to include a ballot question on our April 2025 ballot to change the date of our local elections from April to November, which is known to be the singular most effective step to increase voter turnout in local elections. As a result, this question was placed on the ballot last April. We see the results of that vote here in the box on the left. So it shows, yes, this change for local election was voted for by 67% of the voters who voted in that election, so over 3,000 people. The box on the right shows the result of the next step in the process, where Canton voters got to decide and gave their approval at annual town meeting to authorize the select board to file a home rule petition with the legislature to make this change. If you go to the next, wait just a minute. Since the voters have spoken on this important matter, we have covered the reasons for this matter at annual town meeting, at other select board meetings. So because of those reasons, I'm not going to get into the benefits of the change. We respect and we deeply value the position of select board members who have previously stated emphatically, clearly, and without reservation they respect the will of the voters. Tonight, you have before you an important opportunity to honor the outcome of the election and the annual town meeting vote, and to honor the will of the voters. Next slide, please. Thank you. If you can make that a little bigger, I don't know if you can, but I'm not going to read, this is the full text of the legislation we urge you to file with the legislature as a home rule petition. I will not read through the text word for word. However, for the benefit of everyone in the room and those viewing on Canton Community TV, I would like to highlight a few of the key points that are covered in this piece of legislation for our town. If you go to the next slide, please. So, the proposed legislation accomplishes the voters' wishes to move local elections from April to November to align with state and federal elections. We would continue to have annual local elections every year. During odd years, the only change visible to voters would be a local election in November instead of April. However, during even years, when there are also state and federal candidates up for election in November, this act allows Canton to add its local candidates onto the same ballot. So Canton voters would be electing local, state, and federal candidates all at the same time on the same ballot. The legislation also provides, very importantly, that if this new Canton law is enacted during a presidential election year, say 2028, then it would not take effect until the following year. This was included to give the town ample time to prepare for the change. If you go to the next slide, please. The proposed legislation also addresses one key aspect of the first year in the transition from April to November elections. That is, how to treat elected officials whose terms would otherwise expire in April of the year the change took place. The legislation provides that an elected official in that position can choose for themselves either to resign in April at the end of the term they were elected to, or they can choose to continue to serve until November when the law first takes effect. If the official chooses to resign in April, and there is therefore a vacancy in the board or committee from April to November, then that vacancy would be filled in accordance with Canton's bylaws, in the same way board or committee vacancies are filled today. Whether that is a vacancy, for example, for the select board or the school committee or the planning board, these have happened before and would be treated by the Select Board in the same way they're treated today. If you'd go to the next slide. So we respectfully ask for you to vote tonight to file this proposed legislation with the legislator honoring the will of the voters. Importantly, the vote does not preclude any subsequent tweaks in the language subject to the suggestions of town council to make more clear the will of the voters. And of course, very importantly, the final bill, after it goes through the legislative process, remains subject to the Select Board's approval. Finally, as promised, if you'd go to the next slide, please. In addition to tonight's vote, we also recommend the Select Board take under consideration for further action to involve the right people in the planning to make sure the town is being thoughtful about this change. Specifically, we would suggest that the Select Board appoint an advisory group whose role would be twofold: to keep the Select Board apprised and the public informed as the town's home rule petition moves through the legislative process, and importantly, to start the real work now to develop the operational plan for successful implementation. To maximize success, such an advisory group should include key stakeholders to the process, representing, for example, the Select Board, our town clerk, poll workers, town council, the bylaw modernization committee, the finance committee, and the petitioners. In fact, this could be an opportunity for the town to look holistically at our election process to try to identify opportunities for efficiencies that could benefit the town clerk's office, our poll workers, and the voters, and to be sure we are staffed and resourced for success. So I want to thank everyone for listening. I will try to answer any questions you may have. I kindly ask you to vote yes this evening to file this home rule petition with the legislature, keeping in mind that our election process is among the most important functions of our local government. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Speaking for myself, we've had conversations from day one of this. And during that, I had a lot of questions. Some have been answered tonight. One of my questions is, for this to go to the legislature, the actual document, how long would it take to actually get that document prepared to go to the state? It would have to get drafted, town council, all these particular items. What is the time frame for that, do you think?
So
I'm not holding it to it.
in speaking to Senator Sweeney's office, that's a question that we asked. And essentially, you want to get it there the sooner the better. But you want to be sure that the home rule petition that you're filing is representative of the voters' wishes and in accordance with, you know, what the Select Board thinks makes sense. So you have an opportunity to tweak it and to make sure it's, you know, it's fine. And then but it should go before, my understanding is, I believe, and I can verify this, you want to get it there, you know, before the fall. I think that was, you know, the key.
Is that the
Okay.
question you were asking?
What's that?
That's the question you
Yeah,
were
it was
asking.
basically
Okay.
when that
Yeah,
document
because
would
the
be.
document is as seen here.
Yeah.
We're going to give it to Senator Feeney's office so he can start the process. Okay.
But somebody has to draft it. This is not the official document.
Well-
I mean, there's an official document that has to be done with all these particular
I
items.
think it's very close. This was drafted by Senator Feeney's office with, you know, with our input based on what was voted on by the voters, and also there was input from subject matter experts, in addition, academic and democracy experts in the, you know, academic experts. So it is very close to what would be submittable, if not submittable now. And I think I think you have an appropriate document.
And follow up on that, once it's submitted to the state, and this is going to be really a non-answer, how long would it take for them to review it and come back with a determination?
So my understanding of the process is that it would go to the legislature and it will go to committee. And I believe the name of the committee that it would likely go to, I don't have my notes in front of me, it's town municipalities kind of committee that looks at issues just like this. So procedures for towns and that, the legislative cycle is, we're in the midst of it right now. So, it started with July 1st. So, I'm not exactly sure how long it would take in committee, but there would be hearings, for example, where subject matter experts could, speak to it. And eventually, we will have a final draft, so it'll go through various iterations, and then that will go back to the select board for approval. So you want to, this would be before the end of the 2-year legislative cycle, is what is sort of the end point.
Very good. Once again, I said in the beginning that if it went through the process that you guys vigorously did, which was get the signatures, go to the ballot, go to town meeting, and based on that results, I would support this. So
Thank you.
you've done all of the requirements that I had asked for you to do it, so I appreciate your hard work in doing that, so I will not hold this back. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, because I know the whole single ballot versus double ballot issue was definitely a concern that was discussed. So just want to get
Yes.
clarity on that issue with
Yes,
you.
we got legal advice and consultation on that, and there is nothing in Massachusetts state law which precludes having a single ballot that would include local, state, and federal offices on the same ballot. So it is perfectly legal, and there's nothing that precludes that. But this would be a change that would be for the town of Canton.
Thank you.
Rich, any
So,
others?
no, but I'd like to make a motion.
Before you make a motion,
Yes.
could I just say something?
Absolutely.
So I think that the language that Jen has presented needs to be sent to town council. Town council will look at it, offer any kind of changes or not, depending on what he thinks, and then he will put together the home rule petition document that you will then forward to Senator Feeney and Rep. Galvin. So I think that your vote should be to authorize the town council to put together
Correct.
the home rule petition. Once that's, because you don't want to vote on it until you've seen the final document.
Right.
So
Right.
let him put together the home rule petition, you all review it, and then you can take another vote to file it with the legislature.
May I make a comment?
Yes, absolutely.
You could vote in that case on a home rule petition, which would be in accordance with what the town administrator just said. So instead of voting on this home rule petition, you could vote that you are approving a home rule petition in accordance with what we've just discussed. That would be per what
Once
Charlie
council
talked
does
about.
Does that satisfy
That's
your,
satisfying.
Yeah, so that,
your need for where you want to go?
I just don't, I don't know that that's necessary. I think that if you vote to direct town council to draft the home rule petition, he drafts it, comes back to you, and then you vote to send it. I think you're all in agreement that you're going to support it, so
Yes.
I think that's an issue. So I don't think you should vote on any home rule petition until you've actually seen the final language.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not the motion
All right.
that's before us right now.
Wait,
wait.
what? I thought, I was going to make a motion to authorize the
Correct.
legislature to,
Authorize town council, not the legislature.
wait, what?
Authorize town
Town
council
council.
All right,
draft the home rule petition.
okay. I was going a
Based
step
on-
ahead. I was going into the legislature
Correct.
already.
Approve the vote,
Yep,
Okay.
and then we'll review it and send it on.
yep.
okay.
Okay, is that
Did
fine?
you just make that motion?
I
Because I
did.
second it.
Well, I think Mrs. Harrington has the motion.
You have
All
the,
right.
go ahead.
I move that the select board authorize town council to draft the home rule petition.
Second.
Motion is made. Should we amend it to move the vote? I think we should amend it for the move the vote.
Okay,
Draft a home rule petition to move the vote.
okay.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, chair as well, 3-0. Good luck.
Thank
We'll
you.
We'll see the next draft. Okay. Ms. Harrington, what do we have next?
Okay, let's see, where are we? Oh, up next is the Are we going to have discussion on this? Or we just
Yes,
gonna-
consider, yeah.
Is the new, is authorizing a search company for our new police chief?
Yeah, so in the last few weeks anyhow, maybe almost a month and a half, we've instructed the town administrator to, in HR, to look into firms that would help us in our new police search for our permanent police chief. And we've come down to 3 firms, and they're all excellent firms. I would like to refer this to Charlie to kind of review them. Sure. And the select board had an executive session on that, and we're ready to move on to go for the search for our next new chief in the town, so.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. So as the board directed me to research firms that can perform the permanent police chief search and hiring process, I reached out to at least 5 known firms. I received proposals from all, with, various price ranges and scopes, and then kind of whittled that down to 3 that, I thought were fit Canton's needs the best. So we have public safety consultants, and we also have the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and then we have Badge Quest. All 3 of these companies are experienced at doing police chief searches, both nationally and then regionally and then within the state. I think that the International Association of Chiefs of Police brought credibility to the search, but they were very expensive. They were about $80,000 as compared to $15 to $20 for the other firms. And the other issue with this organization was that they weren't going to be here. A lot of it is done remotely. So I felt like, we need to have kind of boots on the ground here, particularly if we're going to do community and stakeholder input and community meetings and things like that. So we want our search firm to be able to conduct those things here. So public safety consultants and Badge Quest had similar proposals, both very good proposals. And just in doing research and soliciting input from Interim Chief Perkins, we felt like public safety consultants was best suited to do the search in Canton. So that is my recommendation. The price is very close to Badge Quest. I was able to speak with the owner. He was actually the only owner that called me in person to discuss some of the parameters and some of the things that the town was looking for. So I felt like they probably would be the best candidate.
Thank you, Mr. Duty. I reviewed all 3. The latter, being the international, was heavily on the absent reviewing of police chiefs and not so much committed to community gathering of information. They all had good references, all did a lot of searches for police chiefs. So the PSC, I agreed with Mr. Duty. They have stressed the input from our community as to what we're looking for. And we definitely have to have this community input on this search for the next police chief. So that was the one firm I was going for. So other board members would like to,
You want to say anything?
you want to say anything?
Simply that I think public input is just paramount for where we're at, and this firm seems to have a good commitment to that.
Same,
Yeah.
yeah.
The search is going to take approximately 6 months once we sign a contract and get going. There's a lot of upfront work that needs to be done. Review of, policies and procedures and interview of stakeholders and things like that.
And so one of the things that we want to ensure with this firm, Charlie, is that as it progresses, I know it's going to take them a month to get going, but we would like to have an update as to when the meetings with the public, how they're going to be structured, stuff like that. So it's not like the last minute, we're going to have a meeting Thursday. So everybody's on board, so they'll have some input.
Yep, absolutely.
And we'll definitely announce those meetings as soon as we can. We're not necessarily taking comments, but I'll give you the floor for a second, Mr. Murphy.
Just a question, Greg Murphy.
Name again, sir. Name again, sir.
I'm sorry.
He didn't hear you
Greg
the first time.
Murphy, sir. You got to say your name again, please?
Greg
There
Murphy?
you go.
Okay, Town of Canton.
Thank you.
You just mentioned that the process with the consultant will take approximately 6 months, if I'm
Yep.
remembering correctly. we hired the interim chief for 6 months, so is there a gap period we have to address there?
We may have to extend, we may or may not have to extend the interim's chief for a month or so, but that shouldn't be an issue with it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
All right.
So I'd accept the motion.
I move that the board select Public Safety Consultants, LLC of Boxford, Mass. as the search firm for the permanent police chief hiring process.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0, chair as well. Thank you. Let's move it on, Charlie. How long would we take to get them going? When are you going to
I'll
talk to them?
contact them tomorrow and get the contract going, and hopefully, I'd like to start early August.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I move the board accept and authorize the use of the gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, a donation to the library in the amount of $125 from Richard C. Moraski to purchase library materials.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board accept and authorize the use of the gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, 53A, the following donations to the Department of Elder and Human Services. $2,800 from HESCO to be used as a stipend for hosting the Shine Counselor. Donations in memory of Mary Massiola, $50 from Michael and Claire Codis, $50 from Mary Graziano, and $20 from Jane Giel.
Motion been made.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board accept and authorize the use of the gift in accordance with the terms thereof under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, a donation of $100 from B&G Restaurant Supply for Canton Cleanup Day.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board approve Southeastern Regional Services Group paper contract for WB Mason, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board approve the request to hold the Ponkapog Civic Children's Triathlon event to be held on Sunday, August 24th, 2025, beginning at 10 a.m., subject to police and fire approval.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board approve the request for the use of mitigation funds for the Brightview account in the amount of $40,000 from the police department for Equiture recording system.
A second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Charlie, this is for,
Yes, this is interim Chief Perkins came to me and asked for funds to have all telephone lines coming into the police station as recorded lines. So currently, a lot of the upstairs administrative lines are unrecorded, and he felt like all phone lines should be recorded in the police department, so he's asked for an update to the equipment. So Lewis has spec'd it out, costed it out, and it's $40,000 for that upgrade.
excellent.
Great.
Well spent. Very
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing done, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair as well, 3-0.
Okay. I move that the board appoint the central maintenance supervisor, Robert Martin.
You want to, second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, chair as well, 3-0.
I move that the board agree to a mutual release and terminate the 2008 Wardwell license agreement between the town of Canton and the Irish Cultural Center.
Motion made.
Second.
Speaking on that, Charlie, could you
Yeah.
speak on that, please?
Yeah, so back in 2008, the town and the Irish Cultural Center entered into an agreement for the Irish Cultural Center to use the gunning fields. Those are the fields on the right-hand side off of 138. And in exchange for use of the fields, the ICC agreed to maintain the trails and then the field house at the gunning fields. That, with the changeover in the ICC and after many years, that the agreement is essentially defunct. They're not maintaining the fields or the field house or the trails. And the conservation agent contacted ICC to see if this agreement, do they want to maintain it? And I think they mutually agreed to dissolve the agreement. It's just not working and not necessary anymore. So Mr. Connolly from the ICC attended the Conservation Commission meeting. The commission voted 6-0 to dissolve it. He agrees. So
Okay.
dissolve it.
Any issues with that, Mr. Conley? Would you like to?
Oh, I'm sorry. They should have asked of you.
Hi, Stephen Connolly, 11 Cary Circle. I'm a volunteer, a member of the Board of Directors of the Irish Cultural Center. We agree with the termination of this agreement. This agreement served its purpose. Both sides got what they needed out of it, and now we look forward to working with the town on the Woodwell Road Master Plan.
Excellent.
So everyone's in agreement, and I just want to make that clear.
Perfect. Thank you.
I
So
apologize.
the motion and a second. Any more discussion? Thank you very much. I saw him there, Charlie. He
Thank
was right
you.
in front of
Thank you
you.
for covering me there, Mr. Chair.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I chair as well, 3-0.
Okay. The vendor warrant total for the week of July 10th, 2025, $2,447,949.41. The payroll warrant for the week of 7/10/25, $746,346.57. The relief payroll warrant total for the week of 7/10/25, $1,035,840.91. The vendor warrant for the week of 7/17/25, $1,657,450, sorry, one more time, $1,657,419.69. The payroll warrant for the week of 7/17/25, $14,936.91.
Thank you. Next, we have minutes. Charlie, I wasn't at the last meeting. Should we hold off on that till the next meeting
Of the minutes?
for the minutes? Yeah.
You're actually allowed to vote on the minutes even if you weren't present.
Oh,
Okay, very good. So we'll
Either.
take that in.
okay. Then I move that the board approve the minutes from the Select Board meeting of July 8th, 2025.
Second.
Motion made second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair as well, 3-0. Now, Mr. Duty,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
let's talk about trash.
Oh, let's.
Dr.
I don't get to talk about it very often, so this is quite an opportunity. Yeah, I'm going to just, my report is going to be strictly about trash. So to update the community on what's happening with our trash situation, I hope everybody knows at this point that that Republic and the local Teamsters are in negotiations to try to settle this work stoppage. Thus far, it's been reported to me that the sides aren't making a lot of progress. That's disheartening. I don't know that this is going to be settled anytime soon. But I did want to tell folks what the town of Canton is doing and will do to try to make this as tolerable as possible. As I hope many people know, the town's transfer site at Pine Street is open 7 days a week until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it's open till 4 p.m. And we've had over 5,000 visits to the transfer site, and the operation is efficient. People don't even have to get out of their vehicles. They can open their trunk, and their DPW staff will be on hand to remove the trash bags and put them in the dumpster. I've had a lot of great feedback from folks on the efficiency of the operation, and I just have to give kudos to our DPW folks for, for putting in the hours. A lot of it is on overtime, and for being pleasant and just doing a great job. And kudos to Bill Walsh and Larry Bogue and Mike Trotter for having the foresight to see this and to get the things that we needed to the site before before too much time had passed. So extra containers were brought in from a private hauler. We're hauling out about 20 tons of trash a day from the landfill. And they're also, hauling out cardboard as well. No recyclables yet. So that's, what the town is doing to try to, address some of the overflow trash that, people are having at their homes. We're also our Board of Health is very active. Meg Goldstein and her team are out looking at dumpsters every day, particularly at our commercial establishments and our restaurants, making sure that they are not becoming an attractive nuisance for rats and disease and those types of things. So they're on top of that. And then, of course, our police department is filling 6 details a day because they're required to follow the Republic trucks as they pick up trash. So if folks don't know what the process is right now, there is a union representative that leads the truck in a private vehicle. Then there's the truck itself, and then there's the police detail that follows. So as the truck approaches the containers curbside, the union employee will stop in front of the container so they can't be picked up. We'll wait exactly 2 minutes, pull forward, and then the Republic truck can then empty the containers. And the police are there simply to make sure that the 2-minute rule is adhered to and that the crews can do their work. So it definitely slows down the process. This is why it's taking 3 to 4 days to complete a route, because it's a very slow process. So, but Republic has 3 trucks in town every day, and we're doing curbside trash pickup and recycle pickup. So the other thing that people need to know is that we are part of 17 other communities that are similarly impacted by this strike. Most of our communities are in the North Shore. We're, I think, the only community in the South Shore, for lack of a better term. But we all have very similar problems and circumstances. So we meet on a weekly basis, several times a week, to talk about what we're seeing in each other's communities, what are the strategies that we're using to try to mitigate this, and then trying to talk about what can we do to influence Republic and the union to come back to the table. So we meet with Republic officials twice a week, that group, and then we listen to what Republic is reporting to us as far as the negotiations and what their resources are for us, and then we tell them what we need in addition to what they're giving us. And we're told by Republic that they are attempting to bring in additional staff. They say the truck's not a problem, it's the people. And so we're hopeful that more people will be coming in the next couple of weeks so they can start to address things like dumpsters, which kind of fall on the back burner because their focus is on curbside trash. So we're part of that group. And then what came out of that group as well were 6 of the communities in that group, Canton being one of them, agreed to file a complaint in Essex Superior Court. We did that on Wednesday. I'm sorry, today's Wednesday, not Tuesday. We did that Monday. Yeah, we did that Monday. And that case was heard today. We were represented by an attorney from our town council's office who argued to the court what the impact of Canton was. And the complaint is we're asking the judge to require Republic to meet the terms of their contract and perform curbside pickup and collections the way that the contract says it should be done. I don't know if we're going to prevail on that. The judge took it under advisement today. We'll see what happens, but even Republic officials are telling us, even if we got that judgment, that they don't think that they would be able to meet that demand. So, but the other part of filing that complaint is to try to compel Republic and the union to get back to the table, because right now they're meeting on an inconsistent basis. We expect them to be at the table every day, and we've made that known. But they're meeting, sometimes Monday, sometimes Friday. So that's been frustrating that we can't get them to the table as often as they need to be to hammer this thing out. I often get the question, why don't you just terminate the contract and hire another company? I would love to do that, but unfortunately, there are factors that don't allow us to do that. First, in order to terminate that contract, either party has to show some type of breach. And right now, because Republic is in town performing services, it would be difficult to prove that it was a breach of contract. If the strike continues, I think we might have a better chance of doing that. But as of right now, I've been advised that we wouldn't be able to prove breach. So if we broke the contract, we would be in a liability position where we could be sued for breaking that contract. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I've been in contact with multiple haulers And they have all told me that even if we terminated the contract and tried to get another hauler to come in, unlikely that would be able to do that because no hauler is going to want to touch Republic's containers or their dumpsters or cross that picket line. So we would be in a precarious position there because, yeah, we would out of the contract, but then we may be in a worse position because we couldn't get anyone to come in and actually do the work. So, you know, our hope is that with continued pressure from the 17 communities, that we can compel the two sides to come together and figure this thing out. That's the 30,000-foot view.
And the other thing too is we don't have any knowledge of the actual negotiations.
No.
We don't know in these meetings what one side is telling the other or have any control over what they're requesting.
That's correct.
So, you know, we're in the dark. All we can do is try to, you know, ride the wave as best we can and keep moving to the legal areas that we can.
Yeah.
Brenda Sweeney, Canton. Is there going to be a way for the town to recoup all the money that this is costing us with all these details and hauling away 20,000 pounds of however much trash it was? And I mean, it's going to be a huge amount of money if this keeps
Excellent
going
question,
on.
Brenda. You're almost like you were a plant because that was the next thing.
John made me do it.
Yes, so we have already sent a letter to Republic notifying them that we would indeed be seeking compensation for the costs incurred for the strike. And so, for example, the overtime that's being paid to DPW employees at the landfill, the cost to rent the containers, the cost to haul the containers, they charge us by the ton. All those things are being tracked by the DPW, so we'll have an exact figure about, regarding what we have incurred. And then I don't think that Republic's going to cut us a check for that. However, they do charge us quarterly, and then our plan is that when the quarterly bill comes in, we'll deduct our expenses and then pay the difference.
Okay, thank you.
Jan Hagan, Canton. That actually was my first question. Excellent, and an excellent answer. Thank you. Charlie, you guys have done a great job of keeping us informed.
Thank you.
However, I also have been informed and they don't want to be out of work. They want to be back to work. But if Republic doesn't come to the table to pay an equitable rate and healthcare, then they have to negotiate. There's two sides. If one side refuses to negotiate at all, then it's not going to be resolved. And right now, I understand that that's what Republic is doing. And I speak from a good resource. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
And I will add that the negotiations now have, they've added to that the services of a federal mediator.
Yep.
So the federal mediator has been involved in the last 2 negotiation sessions. However, it hasn't had a lot of impact yet, so.
Mr. Chair, through you. Mr. Duty, my very appreciative comments to the DPW. I've gone several times and they've been excellent, so thank you, and to the team and Mike and everybody that's supporting this. Question for you, Mr. Duty. Is it possible to get some more clarity on the schedule? Like, you know, you see a lot of people sort of like not sure when when it's going to be their time to put the trash out. And I was just curious, I mean, maybe it's too difficult to predict, but that might be a helpful thing if the town knows to share that with the public.
Mr. Birmingham. That is my daily struggle. So this is the way it works, just so folks know. What happens is, in the morning, early in the morning, I get an email from the operations manager at Republic, and he tells me how many trucks are going to be in town today and what routes they're going to be working on. At the end of the day, he sends me another email that tells me the progress that they made on that route and then what the plan is for the next day. So when those robocalls go out, it's based on the information that I'm getting from Republic. So it is truly a day-to-day decision on what routes are going to be covered. So I will get an email from Republic, like tonight's email from Republic is Thursday's route is complete, and we will be continuing Friday pickup tomorrow. And that's when I send out the information that says, if you have Friday pickup, bring your totes to the curbside, leave them there until they get picked up. And then once they get picked up, I'll get another email and I'll give you the next one. So it's truly a day-to-day kind of situation. And they seem to be getting a little more efficient, but I don't think that I have any expectation that they'll be doing routes in a day like they normally do, based on the delays that they have. And the drivers are also unfamiliar with the community. But doing the best I can to relay it as soon as I get it.
Mr. Chair, follow-up, if I may?
Yes.
Mr. Duty, you mentioned a robocall, and how does that information get communicated to the town? Do you mind just elaborating on that?
You were a plant as well. I was going to talk about that. Yes. So we're trying to maximize communication channels to folks because we know not everybody, gets the robocall. Not everybody checks Facebook. Not everybody looks at the webpage. But there's only so many tools in our toolbox to communicate. So what we encourage folks to do is, if you don't have a landline, you're not going to get the robocall unless you go on to the town's website and sign up for notifications. It's on the main page down the bottom. You can sign up for notifications. You'll get it. You get the robocalls. You get them via text, and you can get them via email. So we encourage folks to do that so they can stay informed. We're also posting the same information that we send out on the robocall on the Facebook page daily, sometimes twice a day. And in addition to that, it's on the website as well. I also know that Canton Cable 8 is monitoring our communications and then retweeting some of the stuff that we're putting out. And beyond that, I don't know how else to get the word out there. I just, hopefully people are trying to stay informed on how to get their trash to the transfer station or know when the pickup comes.
Now, Mr. Duty, to add on to that, I have signed up on myself on my phone. I've seen the Facebook page in town of Canton, the robocalls on the landline. The Council on Aging every night sends out theirs on their Facebook page. Nothing's ever perfect, but we're in a trying time here, and as a community, we have to kind of get together and, help your neighbor. Let's work together on the problem. And we've had the Girl Scouts, there's been posts everywhere about kids willing to come get your trash and do it. Neighbors have been taking trash down to the dump when they're going. I think it's important for us to get our community back together and helping one another. Let's stress, hey, if you see somebody's trash overfilling next door, just say it ain't time to take it, but I'm heading down there, I'll bring it down for you. I think the town has done exceptional, and I think the work that the DPW has done, using it myself last Friday, it took 5 minutes and I didn't have to get out of the car. I got out of the car to thank the guys for working. That was the most of it. And I think as a community, we can all get through this and work. When I grew up here, and I've lived here all my life, the dump used to be a social gathering. And we don't want it there now, don't take it there. But we used to go down there and dump the trash on every Saturday, and it was a gathering of the community. But I think the community can get together and we can work out these kinks for the individuals that aren't getting their trash done or they're just not capable of doing it. The other thing is I talked to Charlie on Thursday and Wednesday. I am also work with the Housing Authority and they were all up in arms. We have dumpsters all over the place for 249 units, as do condominium communities. And through communications from the administrative office, he's been working to try and deal with those developments to get those trash. And those developments are hiring people to clean up around their dumpster. They can't dump the dumpster. And all the maintenance departments are doing the same thing. So it's costly, it's time consuming, but let's just hope this lasts. But we got to work together. And if we don't work together, we're not going to make it. And I think I've seen it. I've seen it across this community, people working together to get this trash picked up. So let's keep the course and let's not lose faith, and hopefully we'll get it all together. So.
Mr. Chair, may
Yes, sir.
excellent point. And I would also add and urge folks, if you have elderly neighbors, they're not going to be able to get to the transfer site. So if you have elderly neighbors and you're going to a transfer site, if we could check with our elderly neighbors to see if we can be of some assistance, maybe grab a bag of trash and take it for them.
Thank you, Charlie. Go ahead, couple more.
Liza Colburn, Canton. I have a comment and a question. Comment's simple. I'm told, and this might be common knowledge, that Teamsters in other states are striking in solidarity. For even in my colleagues in California, their trash hasn't been picked up because they're striking in solidarity. Hopefully that adds, this is going on at a much broader level in solidarity. So hopefully that pushes the needle a little. And then my question could be, is there a suggestion, or is it worth adding to the robocall just a reminder to help your neighbors? And like, we have neighbors who have some really unappealing stuff in their trash, and they put babies, so they put a rock on the trash, which might cause problems, but that's keeping the crows from it. I don't know, like, the crows are going after diapers. So, wow. I don't know, like, is there something people could do to kind of...
I could do that. That's a good suggestion.
Like, that's not something people are going to want to put in their car, and there's
Yeah.
also something,
I can definitely add it to the robocall.
Add to the robocall, just help your neighbors, help,
Yeah.
collaborate. If your bin is empty,
Yep.
maybe you could take some, that's all.
Okay, thank you. One more, let's go.
Thank you.
Finish it up, Jen.
Jen Wexler. I just want to, first of all, I want to appreciate the Select Board for the good work that you've been doing to handle this situation, and also the legal action that you've decided to take to put pressure to help resolve it. I just wanted to comment that Republic Services, their total revenue for 2024 was over $16 billion, and they're a North American corporation, large, and that represented a 7% increase compared to their 2023 revenue. And I just want to say that, when this contract was negotiated, there were a number of people who talked about the workers, and the workers for Republic, these are people who are very hardworking people. And I feel very strongly that as a community, regardless of how you feel about this, that, the other thing, the Teamsters, the strike, whatever, it's a really big deal when workers go on strike, like what they're sacrificing for themselves, their families, their lives. And I just wanted to say that I hope our entire community can come together in the way of supporting the resolution and supporting the workers. And there is a petition out there that I want to encourage everyone to sign, any community member, to show that support and to help put pressure for a fair and equitable contract to be negotiated. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we covered the trash for this evening, Mr. Duty.
I think we did.
Do we have anything else to say?
The Select Board will hold the next meeting on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, 7 p.m., Sala Meeting Room, Memorial Hall, 801 Washington Street. And I move...
Hold on one second,
you
one
got
last
something
thing. I
else.
didn't do
Okay.
this in the beginning, and I apologize, but Chairperson Laughlin, Mr. Laughlin, Mike Laughlin, was out on vacation this week, and Mr. Albert had he was working this evening he couldn't get out of work, so they weren't able to attend this evening. So I did forget that in the beginning, and my apologies on that.
All right. I move that we adjourn at 8:30.
Second, any discussion? That was quick. All in
Absolutely
favor?
not. Aye.
Aye, 3-0. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. one of them. Many of these communities are on the North Shore. We had a call today with all 17 communities and representatives from Republic, and all communities are experiencing the same problems with Republic services at this point. Trash pickup has been inconsistent, and communication from Republic has been inconsistent as well. So we are struggling to get good information that we can pass on to our residents. The plan going forward is to send out a nightly call to residents via the Everbridge reverse 911 system to advise folks on what the plan is for the next day for trash collection. We were advised by Republic today that their focus is going to be on trash rather than recycle, but there is still a chance that a recycle truck will be in town, so people can put both out at the curbside, and hopefully both are collected, but trash is definitely the focus because of the public health risk of trash collecting on the sidewalk. We've received a lot of phone calls and emails from folks who are concerned about a perception that the town is somehow not supportive of the union in their efforts to negotiate a fair contract. This is not the case. We are not anti-union. Many of our employees are unionized. We are, along with the 16 other communities, urging Republic Services to go back to the table and negotiate a fair deal for their employees. And we are continuing to put the pressure on Republic to do just that. I can't say with any certainty when that will be done. My hope is that it will be done in the next week or two, but we have no guarantees from either side about when that's going to happen. So if you got a call the other day that said that trash pickup would resume on its normal schedule, that's what we were told. And we asked folks who had trash pickup scheduled for Monday to put their trash and recycle at the curbside for pickup. Republic has dedicated 3 trucks to the Canton routes, but unfortunately, with new drivers at this time and being unfamiliar with the routes and the difficulty that they're having getting out of the yard where their trucks are stored because of the union issues, they're just not getting through 100% of the routes on a daily basis. So what that means is that, for example, Monday's trash, perhaps 25% of that route was collected, and the remainder is not. And we were told at the time that what would happen is the next day, on Tuesday, they would finish the Monday route and then move on to Tuesday's route. So as you can see, it's almost like a domino effect, because right now they're not going to be able to collect 100% of every route. So it's going to keep pushing this down the track. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday? Yep. Tomorrow's Wednesday. They are going to try to complete Tuesday's route, which they started today. They did not get very far, 15%, 10%, right around there. So they're going to continue Tuesday's route tomorrow. That means if you were scheduled to put out trash on Wednesday, it's likely not going to be collected tomorrow because they're finishing Tuesday. So what we will do is we will send out a nightly call advising residents what day, what route should be put out based on the collection day. So tomorrow we'll send out a call advising people, hey, listen, if your normal collection day is Wednesday, put your trash out, or not, depending on what kind of progress they make tomorrow. The one complicating factor is we told folks that if they were collected on Monday to put their trash out Monday, they got through, as I said, 20 to 25%. They are not coming back to finish Monday's route. They have decided to move on to Tuesday because Monday was at the actual last full route that was collected before the strike. So they've opted to move on to Tuesday and go from there. So if you did put your trash out on Monday and it was not collected, you should take it back in and wait for next Monday or whatever day we advise on the call. This is a dynamic situation. It changes day to day, sometimes changes hour to hour. We're doing the best we can to keep people informed. As I said, reverse calls. We're updating the website daily. And then folks should also think seriously about going on to the Town of Canton website and registering for updates. So you can go on to the homepage, and you can register for email notifications, our Everbridge platform. If you go to the Community tab and select Emergency Notification Sign-Up link, you can keep yourself informed. So anything that we put out via email, via phone call, via website post, you'll get notified, so you'll be up to date with the latest information that we can offer you. So all I can do is promise you that we will try to keep people informed. We are literally in an untenable position. We cannot get your trash picked up any earlier. We have opened the Pine Street transfer station, and we have ordered extra containers. So folks who either the trash didn't get picked up, or they don't want their trash picked up by non-union drivers, you can take your trash to the transfer and dispose of it there, and it will be hauled away by non-Republic employees. So that's the update.
Thank you. Greg, yeah.
Greg Murphy, Kent resident. So you answered a lot of the questions, Charlie. I thank you.
One question I guess I still have is, has Republic indicated whether they're still ramping up additional people to basically catch up? And you mentioned it's being pushed further and further down. Are they bringing in additional resources to help catch up on that? Or is really the only resolution going to be resolving the contract dispute at this point?
That's the only resolution, is for the negotiations to be resolved. The complete resolution and resumption to normal services, Greg. However, Republic is a nationwide company, so part of their contingency plan was to bring in drivers from other parts of the country. They require about 37 drivers to do the work that they're contracted to do in these communities, and they were able to bring in 34. So they're actually a little bit short, but they're almost staffed to where they should be. The problem is, even with that amount of drivers, as close as it is, it's experience. They don't know the routes. They are having difficulty, access, getting out and into their facility, and even in the towns themselves. So we did ask them today in the call if they had plans to augment those drivers. They were non-committal about that. These drivers are signed on for 2 weeks. So at the end of 2 weeks, they have to re-sign, or they have to bring in more drivers. The other complicating factor is that the drivers are regulated by DOT standards, so they can only drive so many hours a day. I believe it's 14 hours, and then they're required to have a 10-hour rest period. So those rest periods become gaps that can't be filled. They can do no pickups during those rest periods, so that puts them further behind as well. So that's the situation as it stands.
So it may slightly get better over the course of the next 2 weeks, but then we might go back to square one.
Well, according to Republic officials, as this progresses, the drivers theoretically would become more familiar with the routes and therefore more efficient. But I don't know if I'm buying that.
Understood. Thank you.
Sweeney, I just wanted to say they were on my street, and the actual striking Republic guys are allowed to, I guess they're allowed to stop the truck for 2 minutes at every house,
That's correct.
and there's nothing anybody can do about that. So that is also adding to the delay. I know people were concerned because they saw that going on, and I just think people need to know that that's what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Initially, the initial plan was to obstruct the trash truck for 7 minutes, and that was negotiated down
To 2.
to 2 minutes. Yeah,
2 is still a long.
yeah, it's a long time.
Already done.
Any other announcements from anybody? All right, next, the Select Board will hold its next meeting on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Sala Meeting Room, Memorial Hall, 801 Washington Street. Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:44.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not me. Just let's keep going. I'm kidding. All right, thank you.